What is the new approach to meditation that could change your life forever? This morning's lesson is drawn from the 57th verse of Yong-jig xuan-jue's The Song of Enlightenment. Together, let's chant. When the lion roars his fearless teaching, it pities confused, obstinate fools who only see offenses that prevent Buddhahood. Belong to the secret the Tathagata revealed of the efficacy of awareness and release. So, if humanity has been around for the last 20 or 30 millennia, I take that back. 200 to 300 millennia, then something taught just 2 millennia ago is relatively new. But sadly, there's a song from the 20s, everything goes old is new again. And so is this. It's sad because it shouldn't be, but humanity has staunchly refused to learn its lessons. The lion here, this is a play on words. The lion's roar is a reference as a synonym for the Buddha's teachings or the Dharma. Lion is here used as a synonym for the Buddha. When the lion roars its fearless teaching, it pities confused, obstinate fools. Of course, that reminds me of the third Rocky movie film where Mr. Key's character says, "I pitied fool." So, life wasn't all sunshine and ice cream sundaes for the sage or the Buddha or the Christ. These people faced more opposition than they faced acceptance. It could be tempting for an individual in the situation to grow bitter, to grow resentful. But instead, the Buddha felt pity for those who opposed him. You and I are living in a time where humanity is perched upon the precipice of making this planet inhospitable for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren. And yet, people blinded by greed and obstinacy not only sabotage their own future, but the future of others, which is horrific. And it's so very easy to become resentful of these individuals. But if we follow the inference here, the path of peace is one of pity, not of resentment. But let's stay on track. There are two paths we can traverse. When we are defined by the amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression at the bottom of our brain, we are prone to the path of patriarchy. We're prone to the path of yang. We're prone to being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And so by nature of being rigid, we become very obstinate, and we blind our eyes to things that could get us to the goals that we stated easier and quicker and more effectively. I know what it's like to be on the path of yang. I was taught that the only way I could learn Judaism or Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism was from that perspective. And after having learned that perspective, it took years and years to dig my way out, like a cast member of Watership Down. So when I was involved in fundamentalist Buddhism, we were just concerned only with what would hinder us spiritually. Don't do this, and don't do that, and don't think that, and don't say that. The Buddha taught something very simple. When we look at the Eightfold Path, 50% of it pertains to loving kindness. And of that 50%, 25% refers to wishing love, and the remaining 75% pertains to simply kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. When we traverse the path of love, we are traversing the path of the Buddha. We don't need to obsess over hundreds of laws that may or may not have been authored by a real or archetypical entity. If we just are defined by love, everything will take care of itself. And that is an easier and quicker approach. Blind to the secrets that Tathagata revealed of the efficacy of awareness and release. Those on the path of yang, who like making things difficult, tell us we must concentrate with the front part of our brain, even though doing so causes our blood to pool at the amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety. The Buddha taught us an easier method to simply to forsake mind blanking and concentrating and walk the middle path of merely noticing, and doing so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly, relying upon the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within our what's it called? Our spinal cord, rather than within our noggin. Very, very easy. People upon the path of patriarchy insist that we must make things difficult, and that to accomplish the right view, we must contemplate, using once again the front of our head, even though exhausting that prefrontal cortex leads to the symptoms of depression. The Buddha taught a much simpler method. How can we observe impermanence in a life-changing way that's not belief-oriented, that doesn't rely on rigidity or our controlling tendencies? Simple. Every time we exhale, we rely upon our parasympathetic nervous system and inadvertently physically relax and mentally release. Doing so, we cannot help but notice the change in whatever it is we noticed when we breathed in. It has been said in ancient India that if you sit by the bank of the river long enough, you'll find the ashes of your worst enemy floating by. In other words, we don't have to punish the wicked. Life will do that for us. We do not have to make it happen. We don't have to force things to happen, including the realization, the visceral, transformative realization of impermanence. We notice it, whether we mean to or not. Every quarter, we see the changing of the season. Every month, we see the waxing and the waning of the moon. Every day, we see the rising and the setting of the sun. Every moment, we feel the swelling and the sinking of our chest. Ever changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. These are not the conclusions of rarefied scholarship. These are visceral observations we all make inadvertently, automatically, and effortlessly. Fools will tell you, the obstinate will insist that the journey to enlightenment requires length of time greater than the generation, sustenance, and collapse of the universe. The Buddha said, you could do it in a week. It's safe to let go of our preconceptions, follow the Buddha's quick and easy path. I look forward to meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Let's open our practice by grounding in love. So this recitation of bodhicitta and refuge, we're going to pursue two versions of it. The first one is rather literal, and we're setting it to a bookend chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hate, engraving, and confusion by taking refuge in the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. These three are so effective they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Here we take the same ideas and recite them in a manner that is more concise and more figurative. And we shall do so for 3 repetitions, using the bookend chant. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. Mindfulness and meditation are known by many terms, including sati, passaddhi, chan, dhyana, poto-zen, mahamudra, mahasandhi, ati-yoga, dzogchen, and treksho. But in the words of Billy Joel, it's still rock and roll to me. Let's begin this morning's meditation with an introduction to mindfulness and meditation. As children, the first bicycle we received came with training wheels. Similarly, we shall begin with a rather clunky and ungainly exercise. How do we practice sati passaddhi? Simple. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Let us remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels, thus reducing the length of our contemplative exercise from 12 syllables down to just 3. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the instructions sitting tall, thus generating a vertical traction between our tush and our head. During our exhalation, we can silently and mentally recite relaxing. One of the benefits of this silent and mental recitation is it helps the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears to cooperate with the autonomic nervous system ensconced within our spinal cord. During our inhalations, let us silently and mentally recite, notice this, and during our exhalation, let us continue to silently and mentally recite, relaxing. Doing so, we practice dhyana's mindfulness and meditation, the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let us remove the second of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing the length of our contemplative exercise from 3 syllables per breath down to just 1. How do we practice Chan? Simply by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and by silently and mentally reciting the monosyllabic verb ease during each exhalation, which could function as a synonym of relaxing. Now that we have reached contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Obi-Wan Kenobi upon the toasty sands of Tatooine under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. And if you've just joined me this morning, welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Now let's explore the iconography of the archetypes. We'll begin with their names. In Sanskrit, this couple is known as Samantabhadra, Samantabhadri, Karama Mundara. This could translate into Tibetan as Kuntu Zongpo, Kuntu Zongmo, Yab Yum. It could translate into English literally as the all good ones, mother and father in tantric union. Although I prefer the figurative translation, cloud girl and sky guy doing the hibbity dibbity. Every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, we inadvertently access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. Plunked firmly in the middle way, it does not help us to indulge in either extreme of mind blanking or concentration, but instead helps us to merely notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Perhaps that is why The cloud gal and sky guy are depicted naked. And we'll be right back. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we inadvertently and effortlessly access the parasympathetic nervous system ensconced within the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of our cervical region, either at the top of our neck or the bottom of our brain. Doing so, this parasympathetic nervous system is wired to support both physical relaxation and mental release. Whenever we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during the previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. Perhaps that is why Sky Guy and Cloud Gal are depicted as being translucent and incorporeal. A fringe benefit of training in awareness and release is that we experience that our blood ceases to pool at our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety, and instead coalesces at our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. Perhaps that is why Cloud Gal and Sky Guy are depicted as being beautiful. Welcome to the live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. During each perceptive inhalation, silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each releasing exhalation, silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. As we observe Cloud Gal sporting in wanton abandon, we are reminded that spontaneity is preferable to contrivance. As we observe Sky Guy passively and stably sitting in the same tantric union, we are reminded that the highest spontaneity is not scattered but spontaneous. The Dzogchen Lamas teach that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived, when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow with from effortless effort, with effortless effort from love's centered spontaneity. We become as the way-seeking Jedi of yore. Let us transcend the duality of the four bases of mindfulness. So the screen will go nuts for a second. Please bear with me. I'll do my best to write that if I can. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever circumstance we notice during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable, as a real or imagined Buddha's paradise or Pure Land or Vati, comprised only of light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever body we may notice during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable, as a Buddha's real or imagined body comprised only of light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever experience of the interpersonal we notice during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined multisyllabic mantra comprised only of light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination we notice during our in-breath could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a Buddha's real or imagined mind symbolized by a one-syllable mantra comprised only of light. I'm going to do a quick edit. It may skew the display, so I will correct it momentarily. Let us transcend the vertical duality of samsara and nirvana. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever crown of our head we might have noticed during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as Vairocana comprised only of light, of white light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as Amagosadi, comprised only of green-colored light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever throat we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Amitabha Buddha comprised only of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever heart we might have noticed during our inhalation oopsie, I take that back. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Ratnasambhava comprised only of yellow lights. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever heart we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha Akshobhya comprised only of blue light. We get it? Let's transcend the duality of the 5 poisons and the 5 wisdoms. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever confusion we might have noticed during our inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of white light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom comprised only of green light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever greed we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we may have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of yellow light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of blue light. Let us transcend our elemental duality. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever space element we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of light, white light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever wind element we might experience during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of green light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever fire element we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of red light. We relax into our exhalation. Whatever earth element we might have perceived during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of yellow lights. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever water element we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of blue light. Wicked. Duality. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever form we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha comprised only of blue light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever feeling we might have, whatever feeling of pleasure, pain, or neither, we could experience during our inhalation, could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of yellow light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever appraisal or intensity or volume we might experience during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever impulse we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of green light. We come to this morning's final meditation. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever awareness we might have experienced during our inhalation may begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha, comprised only of white light. Let us seal this morning's practice by grounding in love. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness live spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and confusion freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.